Hello, gorgeous Librans. Can you believe that it is December 2019 and we are here working through this magical, mystical time of year? I just got goosebumps even just saying that as I'm sitting down here to work with you today and to talk with you today about December 2019 and how this space and this time is evolving. Of course, this month is really interesting. It's a big culminating time. And, of course, with the winter solstice or the summer solstice, depending on which hemisphere you're in, and the closeout of the calendar year, the Julian calendar year of 2019 into 2020, we already have symbolic closeout. But this year we also have, in December specifically, we have post-shadow of Mercury, that big, bold Mercury retrograde that we had. We're finishing that out around the 7th. We are having a Venus and Saturn conjunction in Capricorn. We're having an eclipse for the new moon in Capricorn. We are having Jupiter making the big shift from Sagittarius, its home sign, into Capricorn. And all of these movements are kind of working together to say that things can't be done in the old way. And of course, we're always evolving, we're always experimenting. So this is always a message that will be coming through if you're just looking at any typical month or year of our lives. But sometimes the energy is a little bit more about the applied reality of those shifts. And I have to say, for you all, for the Libran family, Jupiter moving from Sagittarius into Capricorn is a really good thing. Especially if you're a Libra rising, Capricorn is your 4th house. And Jupiter loves being in the 4th house. It loves being in that moon-based energy. It wants to give, and having that 4th house placement of Capricorn, fellow cardinal sign, helps infuse your internal secret moon landscape with so much beautiful energy. And so the note that came up for you, a lot of stuff is getting activated in your 4th house during this month as we move through December, even though it's Sagittarius season. And so for you, that's a lot of 3rd house communication, flirty, playfulness. Capricorn energy is getting activated quite intensely at this time, with Jupiter moving into Capricorn, with Venus conjunct Saturn in Capricorn on the 11th, with Sun moving into Capricorn on the 22nd, and then a new moon in Capricorn on the 26th, and then Mercury moving into Capricorn on the 29th. Okay, 3 of Cups popped out. So 4th house activation for Librans. This has everything to do with when your mask is not on, right? You all are great at being diplomatic, at playing the roles that you feel you need to play in order to keep everybody happy. Page of Pentacles. You're very good at figuring out, you can read a room or read a situation and then bring what you feel you need to bring in order to facilitate that situation. Knight of Wands. Ooh, we're getting some very festive energy here, right? That's an amazing skill set. But what happens when you feel that you always have to play that role, you always have to facilitate in that way? Ace of Swords. You start to lose faith in your love ability when you don't have the mask on, when you don't have the performance on, when you are just who you are, with your mess and with your confusion and with where you are in life and what feels good to you. 10 of Wands. And this Jupiter in Capricorn energy is going to help you find faith in that Ace of Cups. Yes. Oh, I just love how this works out. 10 of Wands into Ace of Cups. Yes, that is how it works, isn't it? Release the resistance. Welcome in the new energy. Always, always, always. So consistent with that message, isn't it, in life? But this infusion of energy in your 4th house, this infusion of energy in Capricorn, 9 of Pentacles, I'm loving this. I'm loving this spread, you all. I am loving this. Let's pull one more card. Is all about you trusting in that moon landscape, Temperance. You know, the moon landscape isn't the one we share with everybody out in the world. You know, it's not the one that we put out into the office or on our social media or even sometimes with our friends or acquaintances. The moon energy is our emotional truth. You know, it rules the home and the internal. And so sometimes, if we've really been a practice of being the diplomat and being the juggler, we haven't even let somebody into our fourth house hidden energy for a long time. So for you all, this Jupiter transit that's starting on December 2nd and then goes all the way until near quite as close to 2020 as we can get, mid to late December, it moves on to Aquarius. But during this Jupiter transit, which I keep talking about, but it's really important, there is an infusion of energy and trusting more into that part of yourself that isn't the performer, that isn't the negotiator, that isn't the facilitator, and is more about that accepting of the love and accepting of your worthiness within that love dynamic. It doesn't just have to be with partnership. It's any kind of close dynamic relationships. So friendships, family, anybody that you're wanting to let close, and there's a big infusion of energy being poured into your home environment, and that includes this big eclipse that we have, this new moon eclipse going on December 26th. And of course, there's also a full moon in Gemini in your 9th house this month, which is illuminating that bigger picture and really asking you to reassess your world vision of how you identify yourself, how you mythologize yourself, and shake it up, change it. Okay, so let's look at these cards because there is a message of ease here. And I know that's kind of what I always preach. I'm always about the ease and experimenting with ease and seeing how easy you can be on yourself. That doesn't always mean a lack of action in life. I mean, Mercury is direct. A lot of planets are actually direct during this December. We are in a lot of directional focused energy, and the eclipse season is going to start to get things moving. So it's not about sitting still necessarily while we have all these shift outs going on. It's a mental space, though. You know, we start our journey in that mental space of, ooh, you know, it's going to be such a pain to get from point A to point B, you know, and we start to get ourselves aggravated. So ease is often just the way we're thinking about the quite literal steps from getting from point A to point B. But what I'm seeing here with you is huge infusions of energy, huge infusions of social and connected energy that's quite dynamic, quite playful, quite curious. You know, you look at these first three cards, these are so social. 3 of Cups, Page of Pentacles, Knight of Wands. These are energies that want to come in and bring the celebration, you know, something to celebrate. 3 of Cups is about communion. It's about communing with those that we love, that we can celebrate with. And of course, you know, the shade, the tea side of 3 of Cups is, oh, it's the third party element, right? But 3 is really the number of flow. And it's the number of creation and creativity. And so while 3 of Cups on the low vibe reading is all about, you know, interpersonal drama, honestly, when I see this card, what I see is there's something to celebrate. There is a growth. There is a change. There is something to celebrate. There is something to joyously lift your cups up and be engaged with. So, you know, while I'm saying that there's like this ease and dropping the mask and trusting into your lovability, I'm not saying you need to go home and be a hermit in order to do that, right? Actually, you being a dynamic actor within this are going to start experimenting with letting that moon side of yourself be a little bit more visible in your social. And that's what's really interesting here. You know, Page of Pentacles and Knight of Wands are very dynamic, playful energies. You know, these are very youthful energies. And they bring in financial news. Page of Pentacles is amazing for that. And also movement, creative fire and movement. Now that can show up in the form of a person. It can show up in the form of a creative project. It can show up in the form of travel, excitement. But these energies bring in surprise and an element of shaking things up that have kind of maybe felt a little stale or a little stuck or a little bit like, you know, that Mercury retrograde slowed us all down from from taking decisive action on projects and on creativity. I think especially with Librans, it was right next door to you in Scorpio, and it was really kind of playing around with your second Venusian-ruled house of, what you love and value, what you find beautiful. And so there was kind of a slowdown. So this is all a shake-up to get re-excited about what it is that you're going to create and produce. And there's clarity. There are answers coming in for things that you have been waiting for. For me, Page of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, and Ace of Swords all reflect this sense of news, of shift, of change, of electrification of something. And of course, when I think about electrification, I think about Uranus and what Uranus is doing right now. And for you, Uranus is in your 8th house, in this really interesting position of the hidden and the secret, in our secret power. The 8th house is often associated with taboo topics that you're not supposed to bring up at the dinner table, but it's also about the power that we have within us that has been suppressed or pushed down. And that electrification is trusting more in the murky, darker parts of yourself. So not only is Uranus and Taurus doing some interesting things with you, but so is Jupiter and Capricorn, right? Both of these are hitting on your moon house, the Jupiter and Capricorn, and on your 8th house of death and transformation and Uranus and Taurus. And so the way you get answers, the way you get news, the way new opportunities come in hits more on that water house aspect of yourself. And that isn't the performer. That isn't the air sign communicator, right? Your voice and your message comes from a much deeper place. And that translates into you being able to use your words and use your voice and use your identity and use your ability to move through the world in powerful ways. But rather than trusting from the top down, we're trusting from the root system up. And so there's a sense of news coming in, a sense of new opportunity coming in, which is perfect during this season of new beginnings, new openings, new portals opening. It's a very powerful time of year, and this December specifically has this crackling energy to it that's really powerful. It's very forward focused. It's like that sense of this new landscape opening up, this new world that we have started to connect in with. Now, your homework this month, my Libran beauties, is definitely this 10 of Wands. This is the one card in this entire reading that has any kind of heavier connotations, right? And it's that invitation. When you look at how these cards came out, you see these aces around this 10 of Wands? The aces, are those new doors, those new openings, those new opportunities that you've been craving, that you've been wanting. But they can't come in until we have made some space for it. So, I looked at those first 4 cards and it was just like busy, socializing, new people, new opportunities, revitalization, feeling like you've really come full circle from all that you learned probably since your birthday even. A lot's shifted since Libran season, since the sun was in Libra. This 10 of Wands is very much that sense that, okay, you've collected a lot, and there's some things that just don't fit anymore. With all this new energy coming in, let go of some things. Let go of some projects, make some space. And that can quite literally be make some space in your closet, or it can be, make some space in your calendar, make some space in your personal life. Also, stop trying to be everything to everybody, because you're never going to be able to be that for everybody. You can't be everything to everybody all of the time. And as soon as you stop trying to make yourself everything to everybody, boom, boom, boom. Ace of Cups, 9 of Pentacles, Temperance. It's so funny. I think, we get trained into feeling that, in order to be loved, in order to be safe, in order for things to run smoothly, somebody has to be in charge doing stuff. So we get trained into thinking it has to be us, but we just play one part and everybody brings their part to the table, right? So once we figure out, okay, I'm bringing myself to that table and authentically doing so, we don't have to do all the rest of the work, right? And that's where the ease comes in. That's where, instead of being in the boat and you've got the oars, but you're in current with the river, but you're still using the oars and you're still like paddling, release your grip on those oars, and you'll notice that it allows others to step up to the plate and give to you. And this is part of this renewal process. This is part of navigating this new energy system that we're working with. It is about ease. Nine of Pentacles is a card of abundance and ease. This is somebody who feels very secure in themselves, and therefore has all of that magnetic quality. Now, this is very Libran to me in many ways. This is like the good stuff, the beautiful stuff in life that comes when we are at ease with ourselves. Now, Temperance is here. We are in Sagittarius season, which is quite a good energy for Librans. It really works with your air element to bring that fire element into the mix. But Temperance is all about tempering, right? Tempering, this concept of tempering is taking something like fire and cooling it so that we can use it so it doesn't burn us out. So like Librans with the scales, the Temperance energy is very much about tempering, about finding balance, about finding ease, about finding new ways. And this is an alchemy card. So I often think about this angel and this sunrise and this lake and this pouring of these alchemical substances to create something new as a gateway energy. Often when Temperance shows up, I'm noticing that there's no looking back. There's really no a way to be who you were before and do things the way you did before. And if you try, it kind of falls flat. You kind of feel like you don't even really want to play that role anymore. And you're being invited and ushered into this next phase. And it means that you can't look back. Now, you did get Knight of Wands and Temperance, so some of you may have like a Sag in your life and working with that energy, which is very much about movement. It's the mutable fire energy, so it wants to move, it wants to change, it wants to grow, it wants to explore. And this is also about that philosophy. Once again, you have a full moon in Gemini in your 9th house of how you perceive of yourself, how you mythologize yourself. And with that alchemy card, being there during a month when it is about re-identifying who you are and changing the story. This is an important month for you to rewrite how you write about yourself. If you're somebody, Librans get told all the time, oh, you're so codependent, right? That's like one of the myths of the Libran clan, is that there's codependency issues and it's all about relationships. Well, if you're somebody who has felt that they had to write their story as I'm a codependent, maybe this is a great time, this is a great place to check in. And that's just an example. I don't think that all of you have that at all. To reconsider saying that all the time, repeating it all the time, and owning into a new identity where you feel at ease in relationship, where you feel like you don't have to play a role all the time and wear the mask all the time, where you have faith in other people showing up, right? So I have a few affirmations to close out this reading today and close out the message that came through for you today. And this is for you all to take with you through December. I trust the quiet voice that emanates from deep within me, down to my bones. I allow that voice to rise to the surface and take me forward in life. I am lovable just the way I am, with no cover, no mask, no fear. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a beautiful December. I will, of course, see you for those moon magic readings that are coming up, and for eclipse season and the power of that. You can join me on Patreon. I would love to see you over there. I have a Jupiter in Capricorn transit video so that you get a sense of what that transit's doing in 2020, and there will be a lot more specials coming up for the new year and the year ahead over on Patreon. So that is where I would recommend if you really wanting to connect with me more. I have so much good stuff coming on that site. You can also email me if you're interested in getting on my waiting list. I haven't opened up my 2020 calendar for one-on-one readings yet, but I will be shortly. So if you're interested in getting a one-on-one reading, you can email me and I will put you on that list so that you get notified as soon as the calendar opens up. Of course, you can find me on Instagram at Sarah Verba, and you can find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry on her Etsy shop. I'll leave her link below as well. All of the good stuff, all of the links, all of the information is in the description box below. I am sending you guys so much beautiful love for an amazing December ahead. Take such good care of yourselves, and I will see you in the for Moon Magics and then also in the new year.